City Council meeting for Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Ludwig.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Jenkins.
Here.
Goodalster.
Here.
Rhines.
Here.
Gilroy.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
All right, I am looking for approval of this evening's agenda unless there are changes that need to be noted.
So moved.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have an opportunity for audience participation with maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. Is there anybody that would like to come forward at this time? Yes,
Of course, it's me.
all right, could you come forward?
Well, are these, there was a question at a few meetings ago whether these were for non-agenda items or strictly agenda or what?
This is an open audience participation, so it could be anything, really.
Okay,
If
so,
it's for non-agenda items, it would state that on our agenda. So this is for, if you can talk about anything, Terry.
okay,
Can you
So-
come forward though, instead, because we do have our video
yeah.
videographer here, and we'll want to make sure that we capture that for our viewing audience.
All right, I'm gonna try to speak as best I can. I had some oral surgery today.
Okay, of course. All right, Terry, could you state your name and your address?
Terry Campbell, 308 Fulton Street. And I have a few extra questions that we never made it to
Okay.
on the golf cart ordinance. Because we were concerned over the streets.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, I'm curious as to why this isn't allowed as a resolution to start with, because, you know, part of the questions from council was, they were looking for data
Mhm.
and things. You aren't gonna get data if nobody can be on the street.
Right.
So, but the resolution would allow that, and it would allow it to take effect right away, and if it didn't work out, you can cancel it right away, and then go to what I term as Plan B, the ordinance.
Okay.
So that's my first question, and I'm hoping that we can get some of those answers. And because the actual thing from the state said that is allowable as a resolution.
Right.
And I'm also wondering what was meant by, because I don't think anybody looked at this that well. The ordinance was asking for, oh, I left my thing down there. Seat belts, which was not asked for, I mean, for over-the-road vehicles, et cetera, that is, but that was not stated that it was required as one of the safety features originally. And the insurance, what do you mean by that?
So I think we're probably gonna answer a lot of these questions when we get to it on our agenda, because we do have this as an actionable item this evening, Terry.
That's
So-
right, but it didn't address any of these questions I have.
Right, I understand that. And so how many more questions do you have? And I'll write those down and make sure that we address them when we get to that.
Okay, and what is the plan of who's going to administer the paperwork?
Okay, so we'll get to that as
And
well.
what hours would they be
Sure.
open? What's involved with it?
Sure. All right, we'll get to that too.
And the last but not least, if I have to put all these stickers on my golf cart, I want compensation for the city defacing making me deface my own property.
All right, we'll get to that too.
Okay, like I say, I'm still kind of a little under the, you know,
Sure.
sedation stuff.
All right.
So, skirt. Okay, let me just, oh, and I already asked that. And what were the hours of administrating?
Okay. All right,
All right, let's hope I don't think of any more.
all right, thanks, Terry. Thanks for being here this evening. Anyone else for audience participation at this time? All right, moving on, I have our council meeting minutes of August 25th, 2025. I'm looking for approval unless there are changes that need to be noted.
Move to approve.
Thank you, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Terry, where did the money go?
Okay.
It's our opportunity to hear about accounts payable.
Okay, this time, the accounts payable is $600,000, almost $700,000. It's a big, big number. But again, the question is, why are my taxes so high? Well, it's not because of the city. In this case, what was the number here? In this case, 75% of the money collected by, or spent by the city, was sent to other government units. Okay, 75%. So, that's the only significant thing that I found in accounts payable. I had no questions for John. Chief spent like $1,000 on hot dogs for National Night Out. That was the only thing that jumped out at me, and I think that was legitimate, so I'm not worried about it. Okay,
To be the good hot dogs.
so make a motion to approve checks 78554 through 78575 and ACH 1731 through 1749 for a grand total of $680,015.91.
All right, before I call for that second, I did see a hand up. Steve, did you have a question?
Question about the $3,000 for the theater, is it promotion of that? What type of promotion, what does that involve?
Yes, through the city manager.
That's been an annual request from the theater that's been made to the DDA for a number of years. And it helps with their production of their flyers and their general outreach and promoting the theater.
So this is a pass-through
Yep.
from DDA budget?
Yep.
Thank you, that's a great question. And now I'll ask for that second on the motion.
Second.
Thank you. Holly, will you call the roll for accounts payable, please?
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes,
All right. Moving into our action items, we have 3 for this evening. The first is the generator annual maintenance contract. I'm going to turn this over to our city manager, John Hanneman.
Thank you. So we have had McAllister Michigan Cat as our contractor for at least the last 3-year period, and they gave us a renewal quote, which was fair, slight increase from the previous years. But as a check quote, we reached out to Cummings, which is another company that does this type of work, and gave the same scope of work, and their proposal was approximately about 10 or 11% more. So McAllister does a good job. They've done this work. They're familiar with our machines. And this is for all of our generators. There's one at the PD, the water plant, the wastewater plant, DPW, and then all the lift stations. Well, not all of them, but a number of them have fixed in place generators. So this is about $9,000 a year for the first 2 years and just under $10,000 for the third year. Happy to answer any questions you may have, but they provide a full service of making sure they're up and running and operating. They do all the maintenance, change the oil, et cetera, et cetera. They do repairs. They're not complete repairs if something's broken, but they do help us troubleshoot them to make sure all our critical facilities are up and running.
Great, excellent. Any questions for John? Yes, John?
Yeah, the only question that I had, the way you phrased it, is there not a generator for this building?
There is not.
Go ahead. Did you have a?
Then I find that very odd
Okay.
and disturbing.
Okay. Maybe that will be a part of our vision meeting in February to see what we can do about that. Dan, you got your pen up.
Question with, and you may not know this off the top of your head, and that's totally okay if you don't. With McAllister having been here previously, doing this work for a while, when we've had longer term power outages, a day, 2 days, do you know if do they come out and do any type of service with the generators after they've been running for that longer period of time, or?
That's a great question. The PD generator is particularly troublesome. I think Chief can tell you that. I think we got it up and running. Since I've been here, we haven't been without power for too long, for that longer period, but I'm not sure they come specifically out. They would come if we call them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When you say that the PD generator is troublesome, does it not start? What is the troubling aspect of it?
Well, I'm not trying to be a smart guy, but there's 2 reasons a generator's troublesome. It either doesn't turn on or it doesn't turn off. And
Okay.
so sometimes it does both.
Oh, okay.
But partly it was a refurbished generator.
Oh, okay.
And so
All right.
that's been part of the challenge.
Okay.
And that was with our most recent power outage, we had to troubleshoot it quite a bit after
Okay.
the fact.
do we have a plan in place then to potentially replace that since it was refurbished?
Yeah, Chief and I looked at that as a possible budget item for the next fiscal year.
Okay,
We think we can get another year, maybe another couple of years out of it.
okay.
So,
Okay, as long as McAllister can come out and deal with it for us, that's great, but that's probably something we'll wanna look into and maybe then we can tie in City Hall to that one too. All right, with that being said, thank you so much for the good questions and the dialogue. I'm looking for a motion to move this forward.
I'll make a motion to approve McAllister, Michigan Cat for the 3-year grand total $27,797 with the annual cost by year specified in their proposal.
Thank you, do I have support? Thank you. If there's no other questions or discussion, Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
All right, next on our action items is liability and property pool insurance renewal. I'm gonna turn that back over to our city manager, John Hanson.
Thank you. Mr. Mead is here as well, and he's really the point person on that. He did a great job of summarizing this, the memo, but just to go over the highlights. We do have a slight increase in our liability and property. He laid out the reasons for that. Partly the overall, the property values, whatever the property values increase, our underwriting inflation guard impacts the overall cost. That means the valuation of the things that we have is worth more money, so the property values are tied to that. We did add one additional police officer, we did have an increase in payroll, and then we added two new vehicles. So that did bring the price up for the coming year. And then as he laid out, the increase is offset by some of the dividends that we get back being part of the liability pool. So,
And thank you, Tom, for the detail in here. Anything you'd like to add?
I think City Manager Hannafin covered it pretty well. The dividends actually are gonna be a little higher this year than what the 6-year average has been.
Okay.
The increase is only.
Sorry, Tom, my hearing is not what it
Oh,
was
I'm
20
sorry.
years ago. I just can't hear much what you're saying.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just said that the dividend that we will receive is a little bit bigger than the 6-year average. So we're getting a little more than we have in the past 6 years on average. And the increase is about 7.83%. And really, like I said, we added some new vehicles, new assets, or value of the assets and stuff, so it seems very reasonable for what they're proposing.
All right, great, thank you. It looks like we do have a recommendation at the bottom of this memo is, yes, Steve?
I would move that we approve for the 25-26 liability and property insurance coverage from MML as proposed in the amount of $85,390 with the property deductible remaining at $500.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you. If there's no other discussion or questions, Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
All right, moving right along in our packet. Our last action item is regarding golf cart ordinance. And we do have a memo in here from our city manager, John Hannafin. I will turn this over to John. What we'll do is we'll hear what our city manager is proposing, and then I will open it up to questions and discussion from our council members and see where we ended there.
So thank you, we've had two really good discussions at the previous two council meetings about golf carts being allowed in the city of Williamston. And I think we're at a point that we should take action on one of three ways. We can keep discussing it if that's the pleasure of the board. Certainly always that's an option. If you're interested in moving forward with some level of ordinance, and there's a draft ordinance that was presented last time that's included in the packet, my recommendation would be to set a first reading for the September 22nd council meeting with any or all revisions that you may discuss tonight, and then have a public hearing at the October 13th meeting, which would be the second reading of the ordinance. And the final is take no action on the ordinance and simply stop talking about golf carts. So,
Okay.
as I said, draft ordinance that's included, it's the exact same ordinance as last time, but I went through and keep in mind, we were only in discussion at the last meeting, so we couldn't take any action. So I highlighted the main topics of discussion. It doesn't mean any of the ordinance can't be revisited by council, but the primary things that were talked about at those meetings were the roads to be included or excluded, driver age, rider age, and sunset provision. There are other things in the ordinance that you can all certainly discuss and modify at your discretion. So that's where we are.
Okay. All right, so I think we have had some very healthy discussions regarding this. We've had a lot of community input from our community, and Terry, thank you so much for bringing those items up earlier this evening during our audience participation. I think one thing to clarify when it comes to a resolution versus an ordinance, we are more of an ordinance-based community. Those are our set of rules that we drive our community forward with, and so I think that's a moot point now. We have an ordinance in front of us, and I think that's the path that we're going to stay on unless there's a council member that sees why we shouldn't. As far as seatbelts, that's a safety feature. I think our chief did a very good job articulating to us at our meetings what the motor vehicle code states, and he was able to take that safety information and craft it for the ordinance. As far as registration of a golf cart, correct me if I'm wrong, John and Holly, that would be simply coming down to our city hall or to our Williamston Police Department during normal operating hours of 8 to 5 to register your golf cart in whatever manner or fashion we adhere to. We haven't really identified what that sticker process would look like. I think that's still going to be part of a discussion, and also what that registration form looks like. So I don't really feel that we can answer that this evening. And then as far as insurance, I don't really think we can answer what required insurance would be unless, Chief, you have some idea of what would be required for a golf cart.
The only thing, the ordinances I looked at for other municipalities was it just identifies liability insurance.
Okay.
I don't know if Mr. Perone can expound on that, but that's, the ordinances I looked at, it just identifies liability insurance.
Okay. Tim, do you have any input on that, of what would be required by our residents?
I'm not certain if this would require Michigan no-fault insurance for a vehicle that's operating on the public roadways, or if it would be, say, a homeowner's liability policy. The draft ordinance is rather vague on that, except for liability insurance covering liability that may result. And so consult your insurer and say, I'm going to be operating a golf cart on the city streets,
Right.
and I need liability coverage. What form does that take?
Okay.
And if there is an inquiry similar to a vehicle being operated and at the request of a police officer, do you have insurance? Show me the proof of insurance.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. I'm opening it up to council, if you'll ask me all
Yeah, I
this.
have a procedural question about the ordinance being changed. Are you recommending that we go through these items you listed are the ones that we talked about? Are you recommending that we change them tonight? We would change them tonight, or would the draft ordinance come out and then when it's up for action, or will we change them then? Or can we do either?
Yep, you could really do either. I mean, those were the points, there was some, most of the discussion centered around those major topics, and I tried to highlight those in the ordinance.
Right.
So if there was, again, because we were in discussion, we didn't even really have a consensus. And if I thought there was like, a really strong viewpoint that, and I'm just going that persons, the operator could be people 16 or under or older of a life.
Right, 16 came up, but there was no
Correct, yeah.
discussion
Correct.
about how everybody felt.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can either do that tonight if you want, or we could cover that under the first reading. It's certainly easier in a sense to have those things locked down for the first reading, but
Okay.
that's why you have a first reading, is to have a first reading and then go from there.
All right, well then, I think what I'll do, Terry, go ahead, I'll.
Shall we take each of these things?
That's what I was just gonna say. We're gonna start with, roads to be included and excluded,
Well, the age is the first one.
Yeah.
First yellow highlight is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was going by the numbered, in the draft ordinance, so my apologies. So, definitions, operator, person, age 18 or older and holding a valid driver's license. I'll open that up for discussion. I know that we did have, someone ask about 16 and older, but I do believe Chief, was able to articulate to us what that 16-year-old driver, graduated driver's license looks like and what those, state of Michigan requirements are. So, my opinion, I think the age of 18 would be, in my opinion, more safe for us on the roads. And if a 16-year-old's driving it, they're not having anybody in the golf cart with them because based on what the state of Michigan says they can and cannot do with a graduated license.
We could have it as just somebody with a valid driver's license.
You could exclude an age.
Don't need to include an age. Valid driver's license means you gotta be whatever.
Okay, John?
Yeah, I strongly agree with that, just leave out the age requirement.
Okay.
And again, I made the point, 16-year-olds can drive my Durango. They should be allowed to drive a cart. And also 17-year-olds can defend our country in the military. And to prohibit them driving a golf cart because they're not 18 is, well, it's insulting.
Okay. Steve?
I think that we have to look beyond what the legal age is, because we're, as this body, we are looking at how is this going to affect the community, the city of Williamston. And while I agree that 16 you can get a valid license, I would prefer to see 18, because it's not just them and what their rights are. They're going to impact driving along the roadway, and you all have to admit that we are a little more mature when we're 18 and maybe not taking all those chances you might take at a 16-year-old. So I would opt in for the 18, recognizing your point, John, but I think for the community, 18 would be a better standard.
Okay. Dan?
I agree with Councilman Jenkins. I understand your points with the valid license, but as Chief has stated previously, it's changed, the licensing process has changed a lot since a lot of us went through driver's ed. And now, so we would say, okay, you can't drive with your friends, you can't drive the Durango with your friends in the car, but we're gonna give you the ability to drive this golf cart, which doesn't have all the safety features of the Durango, with all of your friends in the car, down a city street while somebody else's Durango is going down the road, and you wouldn't be allowed to do that in a full-size vehicle.
Okay. I'm just gonna go right around and,
I'm okay with the valid driver's license.
okay. Tim?
No,
Last
I'm
final
gonna
thoughts?
agree with the 18 and older. And I'm not gonna down 16-year-old kids these days, but when we were go back, when we were 16, we could have moved out of our house.
Right.
We bought our own vehicles, we bought our own insurance. You can't peel a 16-year-old kid off a video game.
Mhm.
And I'm not downing all 16-year-olds, you have to have a spectacular 16-year-old kid, because if you're gonna put him in charge of children in the back seat, if it comes down to that, and you think you can trust him making a left-hand turn in town, because we're under 30, right, so we can go 15 miles an hour and hold up traffic. Now, for myself, I've almost been picked off 4 times, run over, crossing legally in our town, right here on the corner, okay?
It's
Now,
a dangerous spot.
golf carts don't have roll cages, golf carts don't have airbags. Golf carts don't have the safety features of a vehicle. And this lady almost ran me over smiling. And if she would have ran me over, she would have still been smiling. So I have a lot of experience walking downtown, even in our safety zone, and I'm to the point where, no, I think 18 is a very good age for that, because if you're gonna have a golf cart, you're gonna put a golf cart, then who's gonna tell these, you're gonna have to tell these kids at 16 to obey the laws and what the laws are.
And they're still learning. They're very, very
Exactly,
new
they're
drivers.
just even driver's ed training.
Yep.
Go back to when you were in driver's ed training. So I think there needs to be some common sense things put into place
Right.
and some thought processes of, we just wanna drive golf carts, we wanna have an open thing, and we wanna be able to take our golf, but there's so many safety issues involved with this, especially the chief's report, of all the things that can happen. I'm not saying that they will, it takes one incident to wreck a family and to wreck a community. And with the speed of 15 miles an hour, you're gonna hold up traffic. You left city council? Oh,
Yeah, that's okay.
Excuse me about that.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm gonna pull us back together.
You have
If,
the deciding vote.
well, I actually said that I prefer 18. So, we have 4 council members that think we should keep it at 18. 3 that said 16 or with a valid driver's license. So it looks like a majority of us would like for it to stay 18. Now, that doesn't mean we can't change or modify our ordinance, but I think we have to at least have something to start with. So, moving on, roads. Except as otherwise provided in this section, golf carts in compliance with this article may be operated on roads within the city. Golf carts shall not be operated on or along the following roads, but may cross the roads at right angles. A road with a posted speed limit greater than 30 miles per hour. B, roads in the industrial park, including but not limited to Industrial Park Drive, Progress Court, Centurion Way, and Venture Lane, and then also South Putnam Street. I know from our previous discussion, this was a bigger conversation piece, and we do realize that at the industrial park, it does drop down to 25 miles per hour. So any of those residents that are in Plymouth Landing or the condo association back there could cross over to that Wallace Lloyd area and then get on to South Putnam. So I think we were in agreement that we were okay with where South Putnam turns into 25. I think the bigger conversation piece was, what about our neighbors that live out off of Lynn Road? Would they be able to cross over into the industrial park, into the 25 mile per hour area of Putnam so that they could come into town? I don't think I have a problem with allowing golf carts in the industrial park. It's very limited traffic. I think I would be okay with that because that's another group that, and also for people that want to go out to the senior center. So going down Putnam, cutting into industrial park and then crossing over Lynn to the senior center. So for me, I would be okay with including the industrial park. So I'll go down to, start with John.
Yeah, I agree with Mayor Gilroy.
Terry?
I agree with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was sarcastic. though.
I'm gonna be the stick in the mud. It's an industrial park. We don't know what's gonna go in there in the next few years that has heavier traffic. It's semi-traffic, it's school bus traffic, it's not, it's built to be more heavy use, and then you've got, unfortunately, semis don't always have, you've got a very long trailer on the back of this thing and they're pulling it along, and then you've got a small golf cart, and you don't want to have any accidents where they don't see you or whatever else. I don't think we need golf carts in the industrial park.
Okay, all right. Scott?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Tim?
No, I'm not okay with that.
All right. Okay. So, looks like we have about 5 people that were okay with it, but again, we can always change this.
5 and 2. That's
5
good.
and 2. So, I think for the roads, you know, South Putnam where it's 25, we would allow that. That way people from Lloyd Street, Wallace Street, Plymouth Landing, are able to get into town, and allowing industrial park at this particular time. And again, we have to remember too, we're gonna sunset this in 2 years if we move to push this forward. All right, age restrictions, I think we kind of covered that a little bit, but age restrictions. All operators of golf carts must be 18 years or older and possess a valid driver's license. I think the bigger concern right here, because we already talked about 18 years and older for driving, No person under the age of 13 may be an occupant of a golf cart. I am in support of leaving the language for that, because I do feel there's a safety factor, and just how Tim stated, these don't have all the safety features of vehicles. There are no airbags, there are no doors. It's a very limited safety features on some of these, and as Chief also pointed out with Michigan Vehicle Code, occupants infant up to a certain age have to be belted in specific ways, whether it's rear facing or forward facing car seats, or age and weight restrictions. So I am not okay with under 13.
Can I make a comment?
Not yet. John?
Yeah, I agree with Mayor Gilroy and her reasoning, especially in light of the chief's report.
Terry?
I'd go with age 5 instead of 13.
Okay.
Question
Steve, yes, go right ahead.
for the chief probably.
Yes.
The standards presently as far as when a child, at what age can they sit in the front seat of a vehicle?
They have to be age, to sit in the front seat, let me review my motor vehicle code.
And it would be a certain height.
It's based on height and weight, however, it's also based on age unless they meet the height and weight requirement. A child who is 13 years of age or older but less than 16 must be secured as required in 710E, which is they can be in the front seat at that time.
Dan?
This was literally just changed within the last year, I believe,
Yep.
at the recommendation of the state police, because my now 11-year-old had transitioned to being able to ride in the front seat and then had to be moved back to the back seat after it had changed. So this was something that, I think it was an MSP recommendation to the state.
I'm gonna go back to Steve. You got your question
I got-
answered.
And I support the standard vehicle code of 13.
Okay, all right, and Dan?
I agree with 13.
Okay, Scott?
Yeah, I have a question about motorcycles. Do you know what the age is for someone riding on the back of a motorcycle?
I do not believe, I have to refer to the motor vehicle code. I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with 5, but it's kind of pointless, but
Okay,
it's
all right.
clearly not going that way.
Okay,
I would be okay with 5.
okay. Tim?
I'm okay with 13.
13, all right. All right, so we've got another 5-2. Terry, what was your comments that you
Well,
wanted?
now I'm trying to remember what it was.
Okay, well, we were talking about age
Oh,
of
yes.
participant, riders in the.
What is the law
I
for
mean,
safety codes
I-
for if you have those trailers for kids on a bike?
I
What
think a
I'm,
bicycle is a completely different
I know, but
conversation.
the
That's apples
premise
and oranges,
of
Terry.
how safe a child is in a vehicle
I understand that.
is, I think it's comparable.
I'm gonna say that that's apples and oranges. Somebody riding a
Yeah.
bicycle with helmets and everything on, that's completely
No, I'm
different
talking about
than
in those little,
the little pull-behind carts.
Right.
Again, that's a bicycle, thing. This is golf carts, and we're gonna stick with golf carts and not bicycles.
well, I think it's a safety. The
And we're
common
taking that
denominator
into
is,
consideration. This
is
is a safety
safety.
issue. This is a safety issue.
they
So,
both are.
but we're not talking about bicycles tonight. All right, so where's the rest of our yellow at? Sunset, all right, so unless otherwise extended or modified by city council, the ordinance will sunset expire on November 1st, 2027. Are we good with a 2-year sunset if we were to vote to move this ordinance forward?
Yes.
I would go with 5 instead of 2, but
Yeah, we can do 2.
not that big.
I would go with 1.
That was my thought, was 1.
One,
I'm okay with 2.
Tim?
I'd like to see it as honestly as short as possible because of all the safety issues, especially by the police chief's
Right.
report, so I think 1 would be a good idea.
Okay, so I'm not a tiebreaker, but, I would go with 2 because I think we have to give ourselves 2 seasons of this. Because we already have stated in here this is gonna be seasonal. I believe we did put in here, we didn't? Okay, I'd like for that to be added then, if everybody's okay with it. And have it kind of, you know, our March 31st to October 31st, when we don't have snow and stuff on the ground. And I think, you know, Chief even mentioned that some ordinances have, you know, in inclement weather, you know, but I think that's more of a user, operator, common sense thing. I would be good with a 2-year. And if we have issues with it within those 2 years, we can always have it brought up for discussion and revisit. So, who said 5? You said 5.
I said 5.
Okay.
So we'll go back to 2 and then 2 will carry, I can do that.
All right, thanks. Thanks,
We've been
Terry.
doing it for 10 years.
All right, thanks. All right, yes,
So
Scott.
my wife and I went to Mason to see if we could see any golf cart action.
Yeah,
And we saw one golf cart in the Sparrow Hospital building,
okay,
moving.
sure.
We didn't see any golf carts parked. And then the spectacular one was the waitress. We ate at the Vault downtown, the restaurant downtown. I asked the waitress, have you seen any golf carts? She says, I seen one and there was a whole lot of people on it.
Oh, gosh, wow.
So
And that's
my
probably,
story for Mason.
and that's probably something we'll have to, if we move to, yeah, it is addressed
It's
in
in
the
the
ordinance.
ordinance.
All right, I feel like this has been great discussion regarding those items that were highlighted in here. I think that we have agreed on what we could possibly move forward. So now what I'm gonna ask is, do we make a motion to continue the discussion for a future council, or do we ask for the changes to be made for a first reading for September 22nd? Who would like to make a
One
motion?
more change on that though.
Yes, what?
The equipment requirements here,
Yes?
this is, you're making your golf cart street legal. And I think that's excessive. I don't think, like this thing with the
That's
mirrors
right.
and turn signals and.
That's
mean,
pretty,
here's-
that's pretty standard procedure.
Yeah, here's the thing, is there was including, and if I'm putting words in his mouth, he can correct me. We had a pretty serious staff recommendation that we not do this for safety recommendations. This is the best we're putting together to be able to go forward with this to make it safe.
Mhm.
Not having, you know, brake lights or a mirror or a seat belt. You know, this is, we're trying to get this to a point where most of us are comfortable with this, where it's not gonna be a disaster.
We did this for 10 years with no incidents.
But now we're embracing, but this is allowing, it's basically passing an ordinance where we're going to legally allow this. It's almost like, hey, golf carts, come on down, right? It's not, hey, there's some people who've been doing it, we didn't.
No,
we didn't
last year
really-
that's what it was.
These are different, it's a difference. So-
It is a difference, and I'm gonna agree with Dan. We have to put some safety features in place. I know that we've had golf carts around our community that did not have to adhere to an ordinance. We're trying to do this so our community can be safe, whether it's a golf cart driver, rider, or a pedestrian. We have to do the best we can for the entire community. Even if there's only 5 golf carts on the street in Williamston, we are a community of 4,000. We have a lot of pedestrians that move through this community. It is a walkable community as well. So I err on the side of caution, and if the safety features that have been given to us are the recommendation of a very well tenured police chief that we've had, I don't see why we would want to try to modify this and loosen up the safety features. I'll go to Tim first and then I'll go to Scott.
It's also Michigan law, Michigan state law, that requires windshields, stopping lights, and so we refer back to the Michigan law on this decision. Because they have to comply with Michigan law.
If they're gonna be on the
If they're
street.
gonna be on the street, so they need windshields, they need stoplights, they need these things according to the law of Michigan.
If we don't require these things and we're at odds with the laws of Michigan?
Chief Weiss.
Yes, under 257.657A, the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code mirrors the safety equipment that is in our proposed ordinance, mirrors what the motor vehicle code is.
Except for the seat belts.
Yeah, you're correct, Terry. She is correct.
Yeah, So, okay, that is
That's what
correct.
I wanted to point
So-
out, that whole conversation was
So if
pointless.
seatbelts are in here, we'll take out seatbelts. If it doesn't mirror what, ML code is, we can take out J. Okay, Scott, you had your
Yeah,
hand
I'm
up?
curious, what, if we did the resolution thing from the state thing that's already created, is that the same list?
It is, and let me refer, just to confirm that it does talk about seatbelts. Actually, item J is in the motor vehicle code, safety belts that comply with section 710A and that are used as required by section 710E. So that is required under state statute.
Oh, okay, all right, so safety belts are required.
Yes,
Not for the golf carts though.
it is.
I mean, like I said, I am relying on somebody that has had a very long career in law enforcement and motor code.
So I'm relying on what actually printed off of, which I have a copy of.
Terry, I understand that, but I'm gonna rely on my chief of police. And I appreciate all of the information that you've been bringing for all of these meetings, but his department is also going to have to be the ones that enforce this. And when they have to stop golf carts and either educate riders and drivers or issue tickets, I'm gonna go with what, the safety, recommendations are from my chief of police. Terry, you had a
I'm
comment?
gonna go with 10 years of history of operating golf carts in Williamston.
Well, I appreciate that, Terry.
Okay.
Through the
So again, I
city
don't,
manager.
it's not my job to kill discussion, but you get kind of to the heart of that, this is a policy debate, there's some, people have different viewpoints on the policy based on their particular worldview, or in this case, their very narrow view of golf carts. So, again, I think I'm back to calling the question, it
Yeah.
sounds like, unless someone wants to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, it sounds like there's supposed to be an ordinance, but my suspicion, if this discussion continues to linger, we're either gonna end up back here discussing it
Yep.
again, or it's gonna get voted down completely. So my
Yep.
recommendation is we have consensus points and
Mhm.
set a first reading at the next meeting. That would be my recommendation.
I think that would be probably wise that somebody call, I'm requesting a motion. Who'd like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution for golf carts with the
Ordinance.
modifications that we,
Ordinance.
sorry,
That's okay.
the ordinance on golf carts, with the modifications that we came up with during the debate.
Are you doing number 2 to set a first reading of September 22nd?
Right, set a first reading for September 22nd.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Tim Crone,
The one thing that is not addressed in the draft ordinance, one way or the other, and as I understand it, we're going to remove the restrictions against industrial park roads in South Putnam. We're gonna keep the age of 13 for occupants, we're gonna keep age 18 for operators, we're gonna keep the sunset at 11/1/27. The new thing that isn't addressed in there at all is the season.
oh,
And you did indicate, at least the mayor did, that March 31st to October 31st is the season for operating, and you can't operate them outside of that
outside of
season.
that season.
We can add that.
Terry?
October 31st seems a little bit restrictive. I think that inclement weather will take care of
Common sense.
people that drive them, they're not, we can rely upon them to be sensible.
I agree.
I
So
don't
how
know that
about
we need to have a
April-
restriction on that.
April
I don't
1st
think we
through
need a season.
November
The
30th.
weather's
We
gonna
just don't have
dictate
any
it.
restrictions on it.
Through the city manager?
I would only ask that you not have us define inclement weather, because to me, February and 6 degrees is beautiful. I love that. I
Right.
hope it's snowy and icy, I love it. But other folks make all that inclement weather, and we don't need to get into, is an inch of snow, that's kind of light and fluffy
Mhm.
inclement weather. So either have it be date certain, or not.
Okay. All right, I'll go around the table. Date certain or not? Restricted season or no?
Both either way, I would, to get something passed, I would be comfortable in making it, I would be comfortable either way it's phrased when
Okay,
our attorney and our city manager bring it back.
okay,
So,
all right. Terry?
I don't think we should have dates in there.
Okay, Steve?
April 1st to November 30th would be my preference.
Okay. Dan?
I don't think we need a date.
Okay, Scott?
Okay, no date.
Okay, Tim?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, no dates. Open season on golf carts.
Nothing, it's not addressed, so
Okay, all right, so if we could add that language. So again, we do have a motion from Councilman Hanson to set the first reading for September 22nd and set a public hearing, second reading for October 13th with the revisions that have been brought forward this evening. Do I have support? All right, Holly, we call the roll, please.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes. All right, that concludes our action items for this evening.
reluctant.
All right, moving along on our agenda, discussion items. All right, let's bring ourselves back to center. Discussion items, we have construction project update, master plan update, main for safety improvements. City Manager
High
Manica.
Street is complete, even with bank restoration. Hopefully we get a little bit of rain to help the grass grow. The lines were striped, last week in time for River Day, so that project's complete. The parking lots have been finished for a while. Some of the patching is still left to be done for local and major streets. Quinlan has some areas and South Putnam has some seams that we're gonna have to complete. We also, our contractor was in town last week to do we'll have a round of sidewalk improvements coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Those are in estimating right now with the contractor. So that's what we have for construction.
Is Walnut Street gonna be done this year?
So
Great question.
that is a great question. It was very difficult to find someone who does chip sealing. Reached out to some of the folks I know in the industry. Ingham County does their own chip sealing.
Mhm.
So we're working with them as a possible for doing Railroad Street. They're just done this year. We are asking Reeve Riley for a price to just asphalt mullet, because it's a small stretch. It wouldn't be curb or gutter, but it would be asphalt. So we still yet might do that this year.
Dan, is it Ingham County that does chip sealing on Zimmer?
Yes.
They do such a great job. They really do. That would be such an improvement over there.
And frankly, the folks that do that as contractors, I reached out to the Ingham County, but also Washington, where I used to work, and they do all their own chip sealing as well.
Okay.
They just figured out it's more effective, so
Okay,
we may be able to piggyback with Ingham County when they do it again.
all right, great. Master plan update.
We had a first draft at the last planning commission meeting, and it was revealed at that meeting, so the planning commission is reviewing it, and will make some recommendations at the October meeting, and then it will be final and ready for final draft, ready for city council. Anybody who wants a copy, it's on the website, but I can certainly send your own copy. It's a public document now.
All right.
Highlights on that, what, master plan, what would we think, what, if we were to read it, what are the three things we would say, this is really cool?
Well, you'll like the color. It includes the public dialogue that we captured.
Sure.
And it's all of the changes that we've talked about, at least since I've been here, as far as connecting the dots between the master plan and the zoning ordinance, and saying meaning what we say in the master plan and have it reflected in the zoning ordinance with the changes.
Great. Excellent. All right. Main for safety improvements, any updates from that?
Nothing on that this time.
All right. Yes, Steve.
We've had this on the discussion on it quite a while. I heard Tim talk about his near misses. I saw on Sunday another pedestrian with a dog almost get hit. Is there anything that we can do to move that issue forward?
To move the needle with MDOT?
Yes.
I know, right?
Well, I'll take a deep breath and say that we had several discussions about a road diet, and that we decided not to do that.
Yep.
So we'll continue to try and get our projects on North and South Putnam, the enhanced crosswalks, and then getting
Yes.
permission from MDOT to do the enhanced crosswalks across Grand River, but they move at their own pace.
Can we do the enhanced crosswalks on South and North Putnam without Grand River, or no?
We cannot, because those are in it's
okay.
like in the sphere of MDOT's influence.
Okay.
So we have to have their permission to work that
Yeah.
close to the MDOT.
I forget his name, the gentleman from Spicer that attends quite a few of our meetings.
So
Phil.
Westmore.
I mean, it's been a bit since he's been here, but I know we've been in discussions on the enhanced crosswalks, which somehow Fowlerville can get approved, but we cannot. They have to do testing to see when it's the exact same thing. And we're still in discussions on the left turn signal. Basically, as far from what I know, ever since the road diet, we've been working on those two things, and they're basically at a dead stop until MDOT decides they're not. Is correct.
Can we request a meeting with MDOT, or are we at the mercy of their schedule?
Well, I've had several meetings with 9 to 12 people who joined the Zoom call, and none of them really say anything, but I can ask for another one.
And just to be clear, Bill has given MDOT our proposal
Correct.
for so we're waiting for them to say yea or nay.
That is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's where it's at in the process. They have our proposed intersection plan. Dan?
If I'm remembering correctly, the stoplight is scheduled to be,
26.
yeah, it's scheduled to be changed out in 26, and our hope here in was that we could get something moving with the left turn signal
Correct.
in time for that,
For
was
26.
what we were, now the enhanced crosswalks, hopefully that's something that once they complete their study, we could do that sooner.
All right, moving down our agenda, correspondence received. We received information from Comcast. That's for you to read at your leisure. Department head reports, I'll go back to our city manager, John Hannafin.
Just want to highlight Sunday, and unfortunately I wasn't able to be here. I was out of town at a football game for my son, but River Days was a huge success. I saw the news coverage we got from Channel 10. I thought Earl Wolf, our chair of our Parks Commission, did an excellent job representing the city with the dedication of the turbine, and talking to Chief Weiss and other folks that were in town for the day. They said that town was lively. There were a lot of folks here, and it really, the weather helped, but it really highlighted the weekend. So I was very pleased to hear that.
Great, thank you. All right, Chief, we've got your report in here, but what do you want to add?
Yeah, just the things I would add is, Red State River Days was great. I never knew that a fish release could get so much attention.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We're getting closer to the Lexipol policy implementation. It's a mundane task that Bonnie and I do every week, but it's well needed, and it will support the department. We're attending football games now every Friday, the Friday night lights and soccer games. The National Night Out, I know it seems like a eternity ago, but it was in August. It was a success. Reserve Officer Alley attended Dog Days event. I think even judged.
He did. He
some of the
was
dogs.
so helpful.
Yep.
He was so helpful.
He did a great job. Our new parking lot, the city parking lot, looks great. They did a great job. I appreciate the funding that was allocated for that. And the DPW crew, Ray and his crew did a great job doing the edging of the parking lot. They edged the whole alley. They edged the north side of the parking lot. So DPW crew did a great job.
So, you got some new decals on the cars.
We did, yes.
I love them.
We decided it was time to update.
Yep.
I actually left it to the staff to come up with ideas. We put 4 different options out there, and that was the one that got the most votes.
They're sharp.
Yeah,
They look
thank you.
sharp.
Appreciate
Very,
it.
very visible.
We've had a lot of good comments.
Good, excellent. Yes, Scott?
Yeah, traffic stops are 90 and verbal warnings plus citations issued is 97. So is the implication there that they could get more than one ticket?
Correct.
Or get a warning and a ticket? Or-
No, correct. You are correct, Scott. And that's a good observation. Many times they'll issue a citation for maybe speeding and not having insurance, or they'll get a verbal warning for not having insurance.
Okay.
So that's a good question,
Interesting.
Mr.
Thank
Councilman.
you.
All right, great. Well, thanks for the report. It's a lot of activity in town, but hopefully, those numbers will shift into downward trend. All right, Tom, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, thank you. Treasurer's report.
I will, obviously the financials are in there. the good news about this is, Williamston's strong, we're doing well, or we're comfortable anyway, we'll say that. We'll be doing a little better when we get our reimbursement from HUD. But otherwise, again, we're doing well, and a lot of that can be attributed to the increase in property tax values that's helped substantially on keeping our revenues up. I will deviate a little bit from the financials, just to give you guys an update on some things that we've done. We've just recently, 2 weeks ago, last couple weeks, had the IT company in upgrading all our computers because of the new Windows 10 going away, or the support for it going away. Everything had been completed across the board, all the departments, with a few exceptions. They ran into a little problem on the police department's tough books that are in the patrol cars. Some communication errors, I guess. They had to reorder those. They didn't quite have the stuff they needed. But otherwise, I think that we are pretty well set across the board. And then they come back after those and said, there's also an issue, and I think this kind of pertained to the lien system, that there were some requirements, some additional requirements for security on having your firewall updated, and ours apparently was a little too old for to please lien. So that has been ordered. I got an email today that it's been shipped. As soon as it arrives, they will get that set up. So from a cybersecurity point, I think we're in pretty good shape. And to go with that, and I don't believe I updated you guys on this earlier, a little earlier in the year, we did work with our bank, and we are now set up on what they call positive pay for all our outgoing disbursements. So any, whether it be ACH or a check, when we create them, we send the file of that to the bank. As those are presented to the bank, they have to match it to the file, and if there's any variance in amount and vendor name and anything like that, they stop it right away, contact us, and ask, is this a legit? Because sometimes, it is a lot of automation in the banking industry, and sometimes it might be an issue of them just maybe not reading the character correctly or whatever, but we have the opportunity to review it and okay it if it is a legitimate check, and if not, of course, we would stop. And that's huge, because I've seen the fraudulent checks that are going through, and now even some ACHs, but checks in particularly, that are going through municipal government now, it's just running rampant. So I'm breathing, I'm sleeping much better.
Good.
Until we get that all in place. So.
That's very important.
And I've seen it personally happen in other municipalities, and it's surprising the things with automation, it's surprising the things that will get through, and the technology that allows people out there to alter checks and, to do so many things with it. The fraud is just rampant, so
Well,
we're very happy with that.
good. I'm glad you're keeping our money safe. Thank you.
Working it.
All right, we'll go around the table with committee, subcommittee reports. Does anybody have any of their meetings that they would like to report on? Nope. All right. Audience participation with a maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. Is there anybody that would like to come forward? One last opportunity.
Well, I'd like to say that I'm not gonna come forward right now.
Oh, well, all right, thank you.
Can we have a vote on that?
I appreciate you, Terry, thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna go around the table then for council member comments. I'm gonna start with Tim this time. All right, Scott?
Yeah, looking forward to October 14th is a mini chainsaw art thing again. There's gonna be two,
4th or 14th?
oh, four.
Fourth.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
And there's gonna be two added to the array.
Nice.
And then there'll be some other ones here just carving for auction it off directly. So there's no beer tent, it's toned down from before. But it's very exciting, and, yeah, sorry.
We have a social district, you can get you can go get a
Yeah,
beverage and bring it
social
over.
Anyway, I like the idea, they're adding two, and they're pretty specific about what they're gonna be, so that they're adding difference chainsaw artists tend to gravitate towards certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, they're sort of like leading them in a little bit of a, just adding different things, so
Cool.
that's good, so.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Dan,
No comments this evening.
Steve,
Couple comments. I enjoyed the robust discussion on the golf carts. And one of the things I mentioned before is that we're probably hearing from those that want it more so than others. I've had a lot of conversation, and obviously we'll get into it at the public hearing, but a lot of individuals that are very much against us allowing golf carts. And then the other is an aside, Scott, for those of you who don't know, he volunteers every Sunday at the farmer's market to try to enlist youth into breaking into their art talents. And he does that, I believe, free gratis. And I just commend him for
Well,
the
thank you.
spending of that time.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Terry,
I have this idea that you can kind of grade the quality of a small town by the asphalt. So when you have a small town and the roads are all torn up and they're all cracked and they haven't been repaired and they need to be repaired, they don't get repaired. And then I read a book actually on this, and what happens in small towns like that is that in the end, the citizens of the town say, what am I paying my money for? Why aren't those streets fixed? And then the city borrows a bunch of money, fixes the streets, and then they go into bankruptcy because they can't pay it off. So I think we've done a great job in terms of keeping our streets paved, keeping the things that need to be done. We're doing the repairs we need to. I walked back through Plymouth Landing not long ago though, and that's a long road. It's got a lot of cracks, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good job, DPW, city manager. I think that's an important thing. That's kind of a big picture thing we need to keep in mind, and we're doing a good job.
yeah, absolutely. John,
Yeah, I'm about halfway through our ordinance book review. And, yeah, you're right. And so, one of you that would like to look at it next, just message me.
Yeah.
But it's
It's-
been,
it's the traveling book, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, well, the city officers are way out of date, and there's a couple of, I think, odd things that we have in there. But I did notice that the last time that anybody logged in professionally, well, it was 8 years ago.
Okay. All
So.
right. Thanks for that. Leaves are changing, evenings are cooler. There's still a lot of activity happening in Williamston, especially with home football games and lots of visitors to our community, so that's an exciting time. We're in the beginning of September, but I know Farmers Market's gonna be winding down, so if you need items from Farmers Market, you've got until mid-October to get over there on a Sunday. I'm sure we've got homecoming coming up at some point, so still lots of activity happening in our community. It's getting darker earlier, so please be safe out there on the streets and watch for kids and pedestrians, especially in your downtown district. I will go ahead and adjourn us at, nope, I'm going to call to go into closed session at 7:03.
Don't we need to
A
vote?
motion, yep, motion.
Make a motion to go into closed session with the reason being, we have to state the reason, correct? The reason being a memo from our attorney.
Do I have support?
Second.
Holly, we call the roll.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
All right, we'll go into closed session at this time. All right, I'm calling us back into open session at 7:28. There is no action to be taken, so I will call at 7:28, closed session.